In the previous video, we saw how Goku and Vegeta finally managed to achieve the transformation of the Divine Super Saiyan final stage, also known as Super Ultra Saiyan, after completing their training with Whis. All of this was done with the aim of finally defeating Frieza, who previously defeated Goku and Vegeta while they were using their most powerful transformations, Ultra Instinct and Ultra Ego. However, this new transformation has a weakness, or risk, which is that it lasts only 1 minute. In other words, Supreme Gogeta must defeat Frieza with a single decisive attack. But what Whis, Beerus, Goku, and Vegeta could not imagine is that all this power drew the attention of the gods, and this could become a huge problem for the future of the Saiyans of Universe 7. How will all these conflicts be resolved? We will see this and much more in today's video. Before we continue, if you watched the video up to here it means you liked it, so subscribe to the channel and don't forget to leave your like and activate notifications. And if possible, become a member of the channel where you will have perks, or help with any amount by donating through this QR code. Okay, thank you very much. Now let's go back to the video. Planet of Xenosama. A meeting between Xenosama and Daishinkan was taking place regarding the recent events, for, even though Goku and Vegeta's training had been conducted within the special dimension of Whis' magical staff in Universe 7, all the gods and angels from the other universes felt the divine power of Supreme Gogeta. Many were afraid, others were happy, and some were angry. Because of this, Xenosama requested that Daishinkan go to Beerus' planet to stay informed about everything that was happening. For if the current balance of the universes was broken because of this, Universe 7 could be excluded forever. Thus, Daishinkan departed for Beerus' planet. Planet of Beerus. As soon as the fusion was undone, Goku and Vegeta fell to their knees, exhausted and panting. The monumental power they had achieved with the transformation into Supreme Gogeta drained almost all of their energy. The intensity of this ability was not just a simple increase in strength. It was an explosion of power that had drained their vital energies in a matter of seconds. As they recovered, the reality of the two warriors set in. They were now vulnerable, without the protection of that magnificent form. Goku, still feeling the echo of the strength he had felt when they were one, looked up at Vegeta. The Saiyan Prince had a determined expression, although fury and frustration could be seen in his eyes. Kakarot, we need to find a way to prolong that power. If we had more time, we could end Frieza once and for all, said Vegeta, his tone charged with energy. I agree, responded Goku, his mind racing. What if we use the Senzu beans? They help us recover our strength quickly. Vegeta furrowed his brow, considering the idea. The Senzu beans were mystical seeds that could heal injuries and restore strength, even after intense battles. However, the situation now was unique and challenging. At that moment, Whis, who was observing the scene with his arms crossed, decided to intervene. The expression on the angel's face was serious and contemplative. Goku, Vegeta, this is an interesting proposal, but, Whis began to explain, his voice gentle yet conveying an air of authority. The Senzu beans, while powerful, have their limitations. They are effective up to a point. But the new transformation you have achieved, the divine power of Supreme Gogeta, is beyond what the Senzu beans can offer. Goku interrupted, confused. What do you mean, Whis? Can't we just eat 1 or 2 of them and return to battle? Don't get me wrong, continued Whis. They restore physical power and can even heal severe injuries. However, the strength you awaken with the divine fusion generated an energy that exceeds what the Senzu beans can handle. The divine power you obtain brings a new level of depth and complexity to the energy flowing through you. Therefore, they simply will not have an effect. Vegeta murmured, a little disappointed. So, we are stuck with a time limit of 1 minute? That is unacceptable. Goku, still with hope shining in his eyes, tried to see a positive side. But what if we could just modify the strategy? We can use those 60 seconds in the best possible way. Whis nodded, but his look was serious. Indeed, this is a viable approach. The real challenge will be to make the most of every second in that form to defeat Frieza once and for all. However, you must be aware that even a single blow may not be enough. The two warriors exchanged glances. The determination in their expressions was palpable. They were ready to not only fight as Saiyans but as warriors, elevating the very essence of the Saiyan race. We will not let Frieza escape again, Whis. We promise that this time we will end him once and for all. Goku exclaimed, with a confident smile. Yes, Vegeta replied, his tone now vibrant with renewed conviction. No matter the time we have, we will fight with everything we've got. Whis smiled, although his expression was one of concern. Very well, then. Get ready. Time is short, but the upcoming battle will be difficult and demanding. Focus on what you have learned and be quick. The sky over Beerus's planet was clear, but the atmosphere was charged with tension and anticipation. In an instant, the air grew heavy, and an imposing presence materialized. Daishinkan, the Grand Priest of the Gods, appeared in the center of Beerus's planet. His aura was impressive, as if the gravity around him intensified. The gazes of Goku, Vegeta, and Whis immediately turned to the serene and azure figure of Daishinkan, and it did not take long for the seriousness in his gaze to become evident. Daishinkan! Exclaimed Whis, his tone reflecting the unease he felt. What brings you here? Daishinkan looked at each of them, his expression wrapped in a mix of discontent and urgency. I come with a message of extreme gravity, began Daishinkan. His voice was deep and resonant, echoing through space like a silent thunder. The awakening of the power that you, Goku and Vegeta, have achieved, an unprecedented feat, has caused a stir across the multiverse. The gods of destruction and angels from other universes not only felt the surge of power, but a wave of fear and anger consumed them. The unease in the air mounted as Daishinkan's words echoed. What was once seen as an achievement was now a threat to the stability of the universes. Power? Goku asked, the fury fading from his voice. But we fight to protect what we love. How could this be a threat? Daishinkan fixed his gaze directly on Goku, his coldness palpable. The power you have manifested is not only fascinating, it is dangerous. You have surpassed the power of a god of destruction, something that should never have occurred. This puts the delicate balance between all universes at risk. The fear and hostility generated among the other gods and angels can lead to wars, and wars breed destruction. Vegeta, resentful, raised an eyebrow. So that's it? Our strength becomes a problem? They were content to see us as warriors, but not as beings more powerful? Daishinkan did not hesitate to respond. Exactly, Vegeta. What you have achieved is both a blessing and a curse. If you are not careful, peace between the universes may crumble, and Universe 7, specifically, may suffer the consequences. Tension heightened. Goku and Vegeta exchanged nervous glances. They knew that the battle against Frieza would not only be a fight to prove their strength but also a game with monumental implications. The biggest problem, continued Daishinkan, is that if nothing is done soon, Zeno-sama may decide to eliminate Universe 7 completely. He will not tolerate a threat to the balance among his domains. And, according to celestial rules, Zeno's decision is final and unassailable. The ground seemed to tremble beneath Daishinkan's words. The idea that Zeno-sama, the king of all, might exterminate Universe 7 simply because of their new transformation was like a physical blow. Just 1 minute of power is not enough to face all this chaos. Your fusion may last 50 or 60 seconds, but the consequences of this power will resonate for much longer. If we do not have a plan in place, what happens in the next 24 hours could be the end. Whis, usually calm, tilted his head in respect and concern. But, Daishinkan, we are working hard. Daishinkan interrupted, his voice now nearly cutting. Don't come to me with excuses, Whis. You both allowed this situation to grow uncontrollably. I expected more from you, if not for the sake of Universe 7, then at least for your own initiation. Irresponsibility cannot be tolerated. An uncomfortable silence hung over the group, the reverberation of Daishinkan's anger struck deep into Beerus and Whis. The god of destruction, usually arrogant and carefree, seemed to shrink under the unwavering gaze of the Grand Priest. If nothing is done within 24 hours, Daishinkan continued, I will have to take drastic measures. Whis, you will be banned from your position, unable to affect events far beyond this universe. And Beerus? You will lose your throne as god of destruction of Universe 7. Daishinkan's words sliced like a sharp blade. The pressure in the air grew heavier, and the consequences of their actions began to weigh on both their consciences. We cannot let Frieza or any other threat dominate what we have built, said Vegeta, his gaze firm towards Daishinkan. We are ready to do whatever is necessary to protect our home. Daishinkan nodded, but his gaze remained critical. This is the least that is expected of you. Time is running out, and your actions will determine not only the fate of Universe 7 but also reflect the mistakes made throughout the cosmos. With those final words, Daishinkan turned to leave. His body glided smoothly, as if gravity bent to his will. The atmosphere around him seemed to dissipate, but his imposing presence still lingered like a shadow weighing on everyone. Goku and Vegeta knew that time was not on their side. A tide of responsibility flooded over them, and the determination to protect their home grew. The dialogue between the gods and warriors had reached an agonizing impasse, but one thing was clear, the challenge was set. Now, with the clock ticking and consequences lurking, they had to prepare for what was destined to happen. The fight was not only against Frieza, but also for the very continuity of the universe. Destiny awaited them, and the battle for their existence had only just begun. Hours later. Hours passed, and time felt like an eternity for Goku and Vegeta as they recovered from the exhausting fusion. Even with Whis' healing powers, the signs of fatigue remained. 10 hours had passed and both were mentally focused and prepared for what was to come. The weight of the consequences hung over them like a cloud, and feelings of determination and despair had intertwined. Observing his charges, Whis decided it was time to present his plan. Goku, Vegeta, began the Angel, his voice calm. Since the fight with Frieza will be inevitable, I propose that we do not confront him where he is. Instead, we should lure him to Beerus' planet. Here, we can minimize collateral damage and protect other planets from the impact of the battle. The eyes of Goku and Vegeta lit up at the proposal. They knew that this could end up protecting many innocents. That makes sense, replied Goku, the excitement in his voice increasing. But how are we going to lure him? Leave that to me, Whis smiled. He then used his magical staff to probe the universe. Time seemed to bend under his command, and soon he managed to locate Frieza in a distant corner. Without hesitation, Whis approached him. With a gesture of his staff, Frieza's image appeared before Whis, looking relaxed but always alert. Frieza! Called Whis, his voice resonating across space. The universe has an intriguing proposal for you. A fight in which the winner will take the Dragon Balls for themselves. Frieza's expression slowly changed. He raised an eyebrow, intrigued. Dragon Balls? And who would this challenger be? The very Supreme Gogeta, the fusion of Goku and Vegeta. If they win, the Dragon Balls will be in their hands, responded Whis assertively. Frieza's smile widened. The desire for power was something he could not refuse. He always found a way to get the spheres, and a fight seemed like the perfect opportunity for revenge. Very well, Whis. I will come there, Frieza replied, his voice full of contempt. It's my time to claim what's mine. Whis felt a wave of satisfaction as he watched Frieza materialize across space to Beerus' planet. It was a chance to defeat the threat in a more controlled manner, and it seemed the game was indeed in motion. When Frieza finally arrived, the air grew tense. He surveyed the scene, his eyes shining as he recognized the power emanating from Supreme Gogeta. Without hesitation, Frieza unleashed his aura and prepared for battle. The fight between Supreme Gogeta and Frieza. The fight erupted like a hurricane. Supreme Gogeta, with the confidence of his transformation, charged into the attack. He unleashed a series of punches capable of tearing the very atmosphere, while Frieza attempted to match the strength with extraordinary resilience. The environment vibrated with each blow, the exchange of impacts sounded like thunder cutting through the sky. Supreme Gogeta was much stronger than Frieza in his black form, but, as always, Frieza displayed his ability to resist and counterattack. Each blow Frieza received seemed to fuel his determination to fight even harder. Even with Gogeta's superiority, the fight dragged on, and a new factor became evident: time was running out. As the 45 seconds approached, Goku and Vegeta were aware of the fragility of their fusion. They knew every moment counted, and all their confidence depended on their ability to defeat Frieza before they became vulnerable again. "Now!" shouted Supreme Gogeta, channeling all the energy he could gather into a single devastating attack. The power that emerged was colossal, an attack that could change the tides of battle. A blast of energy was launched towards Frieza, an attack that gathered all the fury and determination of the two warriors. The impact was brutal. Frieza was thrown back, and his body was engulfed in flames of energy. The scream he emitted echoed throughout Barris's planet, but, to everyone's astonishment, he was still standing, albeit slumped and injured.
Damn you!
The fusion was undone, and in an instant, Goku and Vegeta were back in their original forms, exhausted and vulnerable. However, something in Frieza's gaze indicated that he had indeed been defeated. He could no longer support himself, and the life in his body was hanging by a thread. Goku and Vegeta were panting but certain they had succeeded. The battle had been won. Silence reigned, broken only by the sound of Frieza's heavy breathing, already defeated but filled with resentment and hatred. Whis watched the scene with an expression that mixed satisfaction and concern. He now approached Goku and Vegeta. "You did it! And as a result, you now have the chance to make wishes using the Dragon Balls. What do you want?" Goku turned to Vegeta, both aware that this was a chance to correct some of the past mistakes. With his mind filled with ideas, Goku took the lead. "The first wish will be for the destruction of the hyperbolic time chamber that Frieza found. He won't be able to evolve any further, and the Dragon Balls will not fall into his hands again." "Right." Vegeta nodded, determined. "And the second wish should be for the restoration of all the planets that Frieza destroyed and sold. They should be returned to their rightful owners." Goku smiled, knowing that these were noble wishes that would benefit many. "And lastly," he began, his voice becoming serious, "the final wish will be that in the next battle, if Frieza dies, he can never be revived again." Whis smiled in approval and gestured towards the ground, where the Dragon Balls began to glow. The magical spheres appeared, swirling in harmony with the wonders of the universe around them. As the light grew, Goku and Vegeta prepared to make their wishes, confident that these steps would protect the universe and correct the mistakes of the past. With energy and determination, Goku and Vegeta made the wishes in unison, and the spheres illuminated with an incandescent light. The wishes vanished in a vortex of energy, and each one began to be fulfilled. As the confirmation of the wishes echoed in the air, a new foundation of hope emerged. With that, Goku and Vegeta knew that the balance of the universe was a little safer, and the fight against Frieza had come to an end. "Forever, Frieza, this is what you will have," Goku declared, his gaze determined as he turned to the defeated body of Frieza. And so, the battle had come to an end, and with the wishes made, Goku and Vegeta breathed a sigh of relief. The consequences of what they faced and the new structures they had built would shape the future of Universe 7 forever. But as the dust settled from the battle, they knew that regardless of what happened next, they would always be ready to protect their home. The reverberations of the past were now steps towards a brighter future.